What's up, y'all? I apologize for being late. I was on another call. I was on another call, but I apologize for being late. I wanted to be here with y'all on time because I know that Leroy is going to come on. He's going to talk about the fact that I'm 3 minutes late. So, good morning to you. Say what's up. Good morning to you. Say what's up. There he is. Tremel Epps, what's happening, man? We waiting on Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. I originally told him I was going to be about 15 minutes late, but I was able to hop off my call with my coach. And what's happening with you, man? I pray everything is well. Everything is well with business. Everything is well with family. Everywhere, everything is well with you personally as a brother. We can't ever forget. Good, man. Good. Leroy is late. Watch he come on here talking slick. Leroy's late. I've been on here since 10 o'clock. And I don't understand why a good business partner is so hard to find. Because clearly
now you gonna make me go to my email. Do I need to go to my email?
What did your email say, my brother?
Yeah, my email said. I mean, not my email. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My text message. My text. I misspoke. My text messages.
Let's go to the email. Let's see what the email says. And if you have an email that says, "Hey man, I'm gonna be late,"
then you ain't slick, my brother. You ain't slick, my brother. You ain't slick, my brother. Because there is no email that says that. However, let the record show, as Miss Claire Huxtable says.
Let
the record show. She said when she said let the record show, you know she coming with receipts.
Click used to say, "Oh, here
she go with this." That is for sure, bro.
Yes. Dwight Robinson, what's happening, black man? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to Tremel Epps.
Brother Tremel.
And I ain't even clowning. This dude is the best painter. Yeah. I mean, he's mastered his craft. He's getting better every day, I'm sure. But the brother has mastered his craft. Great business owner, great husband, great father, great man. Sound like Reman to me, Leroy.
Hey, sounds like a Reman man to me, brother.
Reman man to me, man. I'm just trying to make sure he's the millionaire, that his company is $1 million business.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. And that was we definitely we have to have that $1 million mindset. And it's not about your money. You have to run your business, run our businesses as if they are flourishing. They are doing very, very well. It's one of the things that I think that we as Black entrepreneurs have to understand. You know, being a top tier. As I'm doing this week, bro, a high value entrepreneur, a high value brand. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
we got to walk in that excellence, man. We
We,
got to
we
walk
better.
in that.
We better.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
reading a book right now called Raving Fans.
Oh, okay.
And it's a book about exactly what you just mentioned. Right? Yeah, it's a book about, how to create such customer service and systems. Like one of our board members, Greg Bloomfield, always says it, right? He always says, "Hey, Remand is the premier."
Yes, we got to start.
Right?
Yeah, that's our
We
tagline,
got
bro.
to start. Yeah, that's our tagline, right? And we gotta live up to that.
Yep.
We got to live up to that, right? So it's me. I endeavor to live up to that. Mastery mindset as business owners, without question. Marvin Harris Jr., what's happening, man? Good to see you, my guy. Marvin Harris Jr. Hey, Marv, are you still? I know I asked you this probably every time you're on. Are you still here in Georgia, or are you back in Delaware, or are you another part of the country? Where are you, bro? Marvin as well. You know what, Leroy? I think one of the things that we've got to. Oh, you here in Georgia? Okay, great, man. Marvin, Tremel, I don't let anybody paint my house unless it's Tremel Epps. I have no idea what I got to do once I buy or build. Well, buy or build here. I'm gonna have to fly him down here. And
hey, I'm sure he ain't got a problem with that.
his wife may though. His wife, his wife may
She
say,
like,
yeah.
and she gonna sing that.
He
Was
said,
it
"I'll come to the A." He said, "I'll come to
was
the A." Yeah.
was she gonna be singing it? Was it Shirley Murdoch? And I am telling you, you not going.
Hey, your boy clowning, Epps. Your boy clown. Marvin. So Epps is the guy that always does my painting. Marvin is the guy that always hangs my TVs. I don't let anybody else hang my TVs because I don't like to see wires all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't really like to see strips, hiding wires. I like my wires behind the wall. And the brother is fast, and his work is stellar. Yeah, his work is stellar. So look at Marvin said, Tremel, bring your wife, bro. There are sharks down here. Dwight Robinson said Jennifer Holliday. Yeah. Yeah. Marvin said, trust me, there's sharks down here. They're just really friendly. they're just really, really friendly. Uh-oh. Tremel's laughing. Leroy, look who just entered the building.
Is it our producer?
It is our producer.
Good morning, Miss Producer.
Good morning, Miss Producer. We got about 4 minutes before Leroy. I don't know how we have started having to report to Crystal. Like
that's what they do, bro. Don't you know?
I get this thing in my stomach when I see her on, like, oh my God, let me look at the time. like I gotta report to Crystal. I ain't got to report to Crystal. You understand? I ain't got
to say she ain't the boss of you, huh?
She ain't the boss of me. You ain't the boss of me. I say the same thing every morning. The show can start. The show can start. It cannot start until Crystal Fendi Styles Clark is in the building. Do me a favor, y'all. Tell everybody the Grown Man Podcast is on the air.
We here.
We here. And we showed up without pink cups today. There's no pink cups. There's no pink mugs. And Leroy got water today.
Where Coach at?
Coach ain't never around when you need him to be around. Coach ain't never around when we doing right. He only shows up when we ain't doing right. Where's Coach Marcy? Coach Marcy probably is the one.
I'm drinking my water, Coach.
Yeah. Did you exercise this morning?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You exercise this morning. What does your exercise routine look like? We got 2 minutes before you got to go into your next segment. Or if I don't want to go into the next segment at 10:15, I'm not going into the next segment at 10:15. I'm going to go into the next segment when I feel like going to the next segment. Y'all know who I'm talking to. Y'all know who I'm talking to. Leroy.
Say out here. Out here. You bad. But back there, she hurt you bad. She gonna hurt you bad.
Marvin said, Donald, if you haven't been yet, you and your wife have to go eat at Rock South. Okay, let me look it up while Leroy tells us about his routine, and then he's gonna go. Then Leroy, you can go right into the Black History moment.
The Black History.
Yeah, look. Before we do, let's see what Crystal says. Did y'all do the calendar for next month? We had a lot of last minute rescheduling. Please send for approval and management. I don't even know what to say. I have no idea what to say to this woman that comes on the Grown Man Podcast and runs things. Like, good morning, hey, babe. She said next date night, Rock South. Okay, you got it, babe. Let me look it up. Have you, Lala? Tell our audience whether you've been there yet or not.
Is it a restaurant? Is that a restaurant?
It's a restaurant.
Okay.
And I want to. Donald stole my pink cup. I did not steal your pink cup. Your pink cup is still right here on the desk. And I never went to go get the pink cup. You probably while I was still asleep, I walked into my office and the pink cup has magically arrived because you wanted Leroy to feel good about himself. Right? Look, he said, I may have been there. Well, you know our rule. If you've been there, I can't take you when some other Negro took you to Rock South. So we have Marvin, I can't go.
Was it Usher that took her to Rock South?
Usher done took her to Rock South.
Usher done took Marlon to Rock South. How you do that? Ain't he supposed to be in Vegas?
He's supposed to be in Vegas. She over here pleading the fifth like a lawyer, talking about she can't let us know. Yeah, we can't go. Okay, I tell you what, I'm gonna be a grown man. I'll take you. She went with a picture of Tank.
No, dude, he had the Tank mask on. He had the picture of Tank on the mask.
Listen, y'all gonna get Marla. Y'all gonna get Marla. Y'all gonna get Marla.
Oh my God.
Listen, Crystal said, Don, why do you lean in the camera like you can hear speaking? Because I want y'all to see me. I want y'all to see me. I want you to see how serious I am about the points that I am making. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Marvin said, oh no, I have another spot, but I don't want to get sis in trouble. Yeah. Let's do that. Tell me the other spot, Marv, so I can ask her on air whether or not she has whether or not she has been there. Crystal said, "Back up, man." No, this is my podcast. Crystal, this is not your podcast. This is my podcast. Your podcast is Fendi Styles. ... Fendi Styles. ... This is the Grown Man Podcast with Donald Morton, Leroy
Hey,
McKinney.
bro, you go silence her to the Cotton Candy Podcast.
You be gone. Leroy, go ahead and take over, man, for the Black History moment.
We mentioned this yesterday, so I don't know what your topic is.
Marlon talking about be fair. I've been here since 2012. I don't care how long you've been here. I'm believing that you were here waiting for me, and while you were waiting for me, you didn't accept any dates or dinner dates or any nonsense like that. You should have said, "No, I sense in my spirit there's a man coming for me, and he's coming from Delaware for me, and I cannot date you because he seems to be a temperamental kind of man."
Why is it that brothers can't? They think that their girlfriends or wives they have no prior history before them.
You can't have no history. Listen.
Okay. She can't have no history.
She can't have no history. Okay. No, we actually talk about this, right? Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. So if you've been a certain place, I'm not taking you there. So she's like, "Babe, if you've been a certain place, do you think I wouldn't? I don't know, but I'm not you. I'm petty."
But at least you admit it. He said, "At least you admit it." He's like, "I know I'm petty."
Yeah, I'm petty.
Yeah, I'm petty. I'm all the way petty.
She said, "You've been here 12 days." I understand. Leroy, go ahead, man. I ain't messing with Lala.
He owned his pettiness.
Yes.
Y'all crazy. Yeah, let's get to this. We talked about them or mentioned them the other day, briefly, and like I said, I don't know what your topic is today, but we'll see. But the Black Panther Party, also known as BPP, was a revolutionary organization founded by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale in Oakland, California, 1966. I didn't realize it was mid-60s. Okay. The party emerged in response to the systemic racial injustice, police brutality, and economic inequality faced by Black people during the Civil Rights Movement. The Black Panther Party was known for its advocacy of self-defense, armed patrols to monitor police activities, and community programs aimed at addressing social issues. Their most iconic symbol was the black beret and leather jacket, reflecting a militant yet organized image. Significantly, the Black Panther Party played a crucial role in challenging police violence against Black people. The monitored law enforcement, observing and documenting incidents of police brutality. The party's free breakfast for children program addressed a practical need in underserved communities, highlighting their commitment to social justice beyond defense. Now, that free breakfast program for children is now known as WIC.
WIC, yes, sir.
For y'all that may not know, because WIC stands for Women, Infants, and Children. Is where that came from. While the Black Panther Party wasn't solely focused on the civil rights movement, their actions influenced the discourse around racial equality. Their bold and assertive approach sparked conversations about self-determination, empowerment, and resistance against systemic oppression. However, the FBI's CONTELPRO program targeted the Black Panther Party, leading to internal conflicts and eventual decline in the late 1970s. In summary, the Black Panther Party played a significant role in addressing racial inequality, police brutality, and socioeconomic issues during the civil rights movement, leaving a lasting impact on the struggle for justice and empowerment. Now that in that Contel Pro program, I believe was started by J. Edgar Hoover.
It was, yes, sir.
And it wasn't just that was tactics, and you correct me if I'm wrong. It was tactics that were used not only with domestic organizations. This was used
Yes,
in international
yes,
organizations or heads of state to be
yes,
able to bring them down.
yes,
So yeah,
yeah,
so that goes to
absolutely.
show you the power that the Black Panther Party had and the
Yeah,
significance. And it was a short span of time. From 66 to to the mid to late 70s.
yeah.
That was a short span of time, um for them to be around, but the impact that it
Impact
had.
we're still talking about.
Yeah,
We're still
exactly.
talking about,
Exactly.
even though, mid 60s, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, yeah.
But it also shows, man, what can be done in short periods of time, right? We
Absolutely.
oftentimes kind of think about things as it relates to legacy. We think about things in terms of these long, broad periods of time, and we all hope that that would be the case, right? But I want us to wake up every single day thinking about how we can make impact today, so that if
Mhm.
today is our last day, how can we make impact today? Every single day, we got to wake up like that, right? Uh, Brother Holland, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us on the Grown Man Podcast. Um, and I'm glad that you bring up the Black Panther Party, because I think that the Black Panther Party has, in the eyes of many, and particularly because media has such powerful influence
Mhm.
over how we view things, right?
Right.
We don't all, I don't think we read enough.
Mhm.
And because we are lazy as it relates to
Mhm.
being, we are intellectually lazy, right?
Right.
Meaning that we won't go to the library, we won't read a book. We try to
Yep.
get all of our understanding from, from media. And the problem with that is media has a bend. It has a bend to it. Whether you're talking about Fox, its bend is conservatism. You're talking about MSNBC, its bend is progressivism, right? So once you realize that, then you'll try to find some place where you can be, that you can hold intellectually, emotionally, and politically honest about what is true and what is opinion. The Black Panther Party and many of its members, that people, not like, nobody likes Angela Davis. No, nobody wants to really mention Angela, right? I had a fro like Angela's, uh, caught fire. This is what I was left with. Leroy too, right? This is what we were. This is what we were left with. The woman is brilliant.
I thought you had a jerry curl though, bro. I thought you had a jerry curl, didn't you? I know you did. You had
I,
that jerry curl walking around with the jerry
I,
curl
I
juice,
didn't. I didn't.
talking about soul glow.
And here's what's good about me, bro. We got, what's good about me is my hair was naturally curly.
Mm.
You understand? So, uh, I, I I had good hair, Leroy. You understand? My mom told me, Lala and I laugh about this all the time. I think Lala's rude about it though, because Lala, my wife is actually Cherokee Indian.
That's
She's
what I'm saying. Are you part Cherokee? I
my
know. I
mom
know.
told me I was,
Marla. I know Marla is.
my, my wife is Cherokee. My mom told me I was Blackfoot Indian,
Mm.
and so Marla said, "Mom did, mom did."
Mama lied to you. Mama lied to you.
I said, are you calling my mama liar? She said, I'm not calling mama liar. I'm just saying that.
I ain't calling mama a liar. She just ain't telling the truth.
Oh man. Yeah. So I had naturally curly hair. I always hesitate to say good hair because I
Yes.
really don't like that term.
Yeah.
I don't like the term good hair. All black people, people on the continent. Can I just pause a minute and just say this to y'all? For those of you that have never been on the continent, I've been privileged to be on the continent of Africa. Leroy has been privileged to be on the continent of Africa. Oh, our people are beautiful.
Beautiful, bro. And can I check real quick?
Beautiful.
They and this is one of the things that I told them when I was there, bro. And this was everybody that I saw there. They had the most beautiful smiles I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah, bro.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, man. It was just that was so heartwarming to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and they, bro, the thing is they got less than us.
They got less than us, a whole lot less.
Way less than us. A whole lot less than us.
Contentment and reliance on God.
Yeah.
Right. It was just really, really crazy. Government can kind of be bananas,
right,
manipulative and corrupt, but our people there just love. Our people there just love. They love us, and don't let anybody tell you that they don't love us, because they do.
Absolutely.
Right? So the narrative that they don't like us over there, that's not true.
Yeah, there may be a few.
Yeah, but overall, right?
But
they welcomed us with open arms.
Absolutely.
Sang, danced. I mean, it was just great. Crystal said,
loved on us the whole time we were there, bro.
Crystal said, a word of advice, don't get bold on live. She will come home and get you right. I'm not afraid of my wife. I'm not like these other Negroes out here afraid of their wives. I'm not afraid. I'm a grown man. That's the way I run my house.
So if y'all see him show up with shades on them, Kamala had a couple of words for him.
Crystal said you need to post a pic of you with this good hair. I will actually. I will. I'll post a pic. If you go on my Facebook page, me when I was young with curly hair, it's all there. I got receipts because I know y'all. I know how y'all get down. Y'all get down like show us you had good hair. You think I had a bald head all my life? Nah, I had nice curly fluffy hair, and Marvin said, I know we've moved on, but possibly, hopefully, and maybe Chops Lobster Bar or the Ocean Air. I definitely want to go to our continent. Yeah, Marv, we are preparing. We were supposed to go in April. We are preparing a trip to Accra, Ghana, or Nakuru, Kenya, which is near Nairobi. We are planning a trip, so we will keep you informed, my guy, about when Remand is going over. We are being hosted by John Mugo over in Nakuru. They're looking forward to us coming over, spending some time with their brothers, pouring into their brothers, doing some missions work, and even setting up business schools over there for Black males. So it's we got some work to do over there on the continent, and definitely want to take you with us, bro, as a part of the team. So Chops Lobster Bar. Crystal's ignorant. Chops Lobster Bar or the Ocean Air. Okay, I'll take her there. Marla said Crystal is right. Crystal's not right. I run my house. Listen to me. Show them the knot, babe. This is the knot. This is the knot. That's right. She got in one good one. She got in one good one. But your boy was asleep. Your boy was asleep. She hit me in my
No,
sleep.
you mean she put you to sleep. She put you to sleep. It wasn't that you was asleep. She put you to sleep. That one hit a quitter.
I can't believe y'all are here celebrating violence. Like this chick can abuse me. But if I came on here and she showed y'all not, y'all be like, I can't believe the Grown Man Podcast.
You know that's real, right?
Yeah,
that's real right there. That's real right there.
See, Marvin said I did have curly, light-skinned guy hair. Yeah. I did. I had curly, light-skinned guy hair. I absolutely did.
So you said you had Albie short hair, bro.
I had that good. I had that good hair, man. Crystal said, "Look, y'all heard him mumble. I run my house, right? I didn't mumble. I said it with my chest. I run my house. Hey, Lala, you need to get these people right. Let them know what it is over here in the Morton household." Crystal Snow, that's right. That's my girl. I've known you since high school. Good hair, bro. I had good hair. Oh well, high school. Yeah, I had low hair in high school. I didn't have. But I'm telling y'all, I had really good hair. Marla, get the date so we can go. They need chaperones. Y'all not going with us to Africa? What are y'all talking about? We don't need chaperones. We don't. Marvin, I'm going to review the pics for the record. Absolutely. All you got to do is go to my page. You will see me as a little boy with curly hair. Marlon say he runs that mouth. Listen, I'm just saying. Pop my collar. Leroy, let's put the hoodies on, man.
Let's go, bro. Let's
understand. This is when it gets serious. So this is what I'm going to start doing in my own home. When it's something that I need to put my foot down about, I'm going to just walk in the room with my hoodie on. You know what it is. Lala, you know what it is. Crystal put it on airplanes. Yeah, y'all not going. Y'all not going. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Y'all not going. Oh, Marvin, absolutely. Crystal's a troublemaker. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Crystal is a troublemaker. Absolutely. The doghouse is calling you. The doghouse ain't calling me. I run my house. Leroy, you run your house?
Absolutely.
He said absolutely. Ain't nobody over there. Like he said strong with his chest. I said strong with my chest. Marla, get these people right. Help them to understand what happens over here. Start barking. Crystal says,
stand on one foot and bark like a dog.
Woof, 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 woof. Like a big dog. Woof.
What is it that you like? Whatever it is that you like.
That's right, Marv. Put your hoodie on. Marv, you want to come to the stage, man? Let us know if you want to come to the stage, bro. We have you on here. I'm going to look at all three of those spots. And
yeah, those sound like some good spots, bro.
It really do, man. That's cool. And we've been looking for, some spots to really go to and enjoy ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah. So both Lala and I are, we like different kinds of food. I just don't like the only food I don't like. Don't judge me, y'all. If you judge me, whatever. I don't like Mexican food. Can't stand.
Bro, it's a Mexican restaurant here that I get, and I don't even know what the dish is called, but it is so good because it's rice, chicken, shrimp, and veggies.
Really?
Yeah, bro. And they put this. I don't know if it's a sour cream or something.
Oh, that doesn't seem like Mexican food. That's a Middle Eastern kind of food.
Really, yeah, this is a Mexican
restaurant. I've had that.
It is so, bro. And they give you, it's like a big pan, one of them big cake pan type things,
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I've had
bro.
that. Uh-huh.
That is
I've had
so
that.
good, man.
I've
That
had that.
is so good. I love it every time I go there. It
Marvin,
ain't
nice to meet
cheap.
you.
It ain't cheap, but it is worth
It's
it though.
good.
It's
Yeah, it's
it's
good.
worth it though.
Crystal said, Marvin, nice to meet you, brother. I'm nice. No, she's not. She's not. Look, see, okay, it's 10:36. Let's get it, fellas.
The producer is in the house.
It's a perfect segue into our conversation today, Leroy. I want
Okay.
to dive deep. As you know, you actually you and I yesterday spent some time, and I actually also spent some time with wifey last night. Um,
Okay.
and for the record, Leroy, we were in a meeting. We have a team meeting every Monday, and we were in a meeting, and I was helping him to understand my present state of mind with certain things that are happening in my life that is really based, Marv, on things that have happened prior to this moment, right? And then I got an opportunity to sit down with my wife and just kind of unpack some more, Leroy, right, about the entire scenario and the tension that exists. Tension, not in a bad way, just this opposite in pulling, right,
Okay.
of my mindset and love for people and the difference between, or not the difference, the fact that I love people, even the people, listen to me, y'all, even the people that have hurt me. So can we talk as
Ooh.
grown men
Ooh.
um about, and I was talking with my wife about people in particular, right? People that have hurt me, or that have done things that hurt me. They didn't hurt me. They've done things, and the things that they did bother me. They hurt me. And what one of the things that my wife said that brought so much calm, it was just really a simple statement, and she said, "It's okay to feel that way."
Mhm.
Like like
Mhm.
like in her soft, what I thought was Southern voice, right? She from the Midwest. She ain't from the South, but in her soft way, she just kind of looked at me, said, "It's okay to feel that way,"
Mhm.
right? When I was talking with you, you took me through the process. Hey, Donald, remember thoughts, feelings, beliefs, right? So I had two people that I love dearly. I love Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. I love my wife. Two people that I love dearly minister to me at what had become a very difficult moment that was playing out in my business. It was playing out negatively in my business. And so what I'd like to really talk about, yeah, what I'd like to really talk about is, Crystal, um, I want to talk about being careful about the root of bitterness,
Mhm.
right? I want to talk about how bitterness can develop a root, um, right? And that if we're not careful, the root of bitterness will keep you from really having God's best, right? Or life's best. Whatever life has to offer, bitterness and your processing of moments can really keep you, as a grown man, as a grown woman, can kind of keep you from what you're supposed to have and keep you from actually, and I like to talk about this with y'all. If you're not careful, yeah, yes, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, Marv. Thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, right? My thoughts determine my feelings. And then when thoughts and feelings codify, when they crystallize, they create beliefs. So most of the beliefs that we have, good or bad, and good and bad is really determined by whether or not they serve you. I can have a different belief than Leroy. The question isn't for me the question isn't about whether or not I believe what Leroy believes. The question is really about, does my belief, my current belief, serve me? Is it getting me to my desired end? And if you're not careful, the root of bitterness, being bitter, will cause you to question and be suspicious about everything and everybody.
Mm.
Bitterness will have you to be so angry that you think everyone and everybody is going to lead you to the end that the thing that caused you bitterness led you to in this last time. And so I'd like to talk, Leroy, and I'd like to hear from you guys as well, right? About and doing some sense of introspection. Can we just kind of lay it out on the table today? Right? So the root of bitterness is episodic in nature, simply meaning that everyone's root of bitterness is different, right? There are episodes that happen to our lives, and when those episodes, Crystal, are not processed properly, they create bitterness, because every angry person, every bitter person can point to an episode or a series of episodes that led to that. And so it's not as easy as telling a person, hey, stop being angry. You really have to be willing to dive deep and give meaning. So it's episodic. And then the question becomes, with this particular episode that is kind of creating this bitterness with me, the question then becomes, what meaning have you given the episode? I want y'all to hear me. What meaning have you given the episode? Because if you give the episodes that happen in your life proper meaning and context, you don't end up with bitterness. You don't end up with bitterness. So I want to tell you guys a story that you've heard me tell before, and then I want to turn it over to Leroy. As a pastor of a local church, I was actually locked out of that church. Locked out of that church, meaning that church literally put me out, right? While they were praying with me, the deacons were changing the locks on the church. It's their way of saying, and they literally said, hey, you are no longer the pastor. They literally said, after you are no longer the pastor, they literally said, if you step foot back on these church grounds, we will have you arrested. Now, I don't know how y'all process that, right? But that was probably one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. I mean, for real. It was just really a traumatic experience. Marv said, had I not gone to therapy, I would have let my bitterness fester longer than it should have. During that process, it caused me to have high blood pressure. I'm just glad that I've got it under control before it caused permanent damage mentally and physically. That's real talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's real talk, right?
Yeah.
So I have this moment where they locked me out of the church. I'm a basket case. I've never been fired, period. So to be fired from a church was the single most traumatic, hurtful experience of my life. And for the people involved, I developed bitterness. And I think all of us would agree, Leroy, rightfully so, right? When you're in that moment and you haven't processed that moment properly, it's easily to say, I blame you. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at this. I don't want nothing to do with none of y'all. Like that's real easy to do. And listen to me, y'all, for real, I did that. I was mad at everybody. I was mad at everybody. Right? And here's a deal. Before I go to the next part, I'm gonna turn it over to Leroy. Here's a deal. Like Marv said, I had to go to therapy. I had coaching. I had a time where I had to really sit with self and God about what is this really about. Leroy, let's talk a bit about, before I go to the next part of my story, let's talk a bit about how subtle bitterness is, even when you feel like you got a right to be bitter, even when you feel like you got a right to be angry. Let's talk about how destructive bitterness is and how it really doesn't serve a person getting to the next level of their lives, their businesses, their families, their marriages. It really has no value. There's no value in being bitter at all. Let's talk about that, man.
Well, here's the thing. I think bitterness becomes destructive when it is not controlled. Like you said, you're gonna have bitterness, you're gonna have anger. Because I, like you, I remember getting fired from this hotel, and it was devastating. I mean, I literally bawled walking out that door because it was the first time in my life that I felt like I was a failure, and that these folks, they ain't care nothing about. They
Let's
ain't care
pause
nothing
with that.
about.
You felt
Yeah,
like that moment, you
yeah,
defined that moment, right? You gave
yep.
meaning to that moment, which is what we're about to talk about in a moment. You gave
Hmm.
meaning to that moment, and the meaning to that moment you gave was, man, I'm a failure. That's the
Yep.
thought that
That
created
was the
these feelings. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it really was, man, because I felt like, and bruh, because I was somebody, and I'm somebody that always believes in giving his all. I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be there. And for somebody, for an organization to say that you're not doing that,
Yeah, bro.
and I was like, wow, you
Yeah,
know and I did. It probably, like I said, it was one of the first time. This was early in my career, and I was just like, I felt like, look, this doesn't happen to me.
yeah,
This and you did, like you said, you don't know how to handle it,
yeah,
because I'm young. I was 20, maybe 20. I was 23, maybe. Yeah, because it was my second job school,
yeah,
out of school. So I had to be 23, 24, somewhere around 24, maybe 25 at the oldest. So you don't, you have these first experiences like that, and you go through things like that, but and you don't, if it didn't get checked, it begins to, as what was it, brother,
Marvin.
yeah, was saying, if we allow it to fester,
Yes,
that's when it grows the roots, like you were saying.
yes,
It grows roots,
yes.
and impacts you. There's so many people, bruh, so many men out here these days that have allowed that bitterness
Oh,
to
absolutely,
grow roots.
absolutely.
And once it grows roots, most people don't want to do the digging in
Bruh.
order to uproot it, because you can't just, it's like a tree. You can't just cut the tree down. You got to dig up them roots, so that tree will continue, it'll
It's
just
gonna
grow
grow. It's
back.
gonna grow again. It's going. So again, you'll hear Leroy and I talk a lot about. This is the work we do inside Remand. If you are interested in more information about Remand, go to www.weareremand.com. Um, what makes Remand special is we are going to intrude on your life.
Yep,
We are
absolutely.
going to force you to face the root stuff, not the surface stuff, because the cotton candy podcast and coaching firm is down the
It's
street.
right next door.
It's
It's
right,
right next
it's
door.
right next door. So it's not the stuff Thank you, Crystal. It's not the stuff that you can see that is keeping you from success. It's not. It's the stuff you can't see. It's the stuff
Mm,
underneath the surface.
mm,
When you look at a tree, it's it's the stuff, it's entanglements underneath the surface that make it strong. The roots
mm,
intertwining with one another, holding on to one another, wrapping itself around stuff underneath the surface that makes it really difficult to pull that tree up. It can be the smallest tree that you think is the smallest tree in the world, but if you don't get underneath all of that stuff, then it's going to be really, really difficult to pull the tree up. Impossible. And to Leroy's point, the tree continues to grow.
yep.
So you're wondering why, hey, look, I'm time has passed. I'm not angry anymore. Time does not deal with the root.
Mm,
So you hear people say all the time, you know, how do you heal? Time heals all wounds. That's nonsense. It doesn't. You got to be willing to do the dirty work, the grunt work of digging inside your spirit to find out what the heck's really good, so that I can lay the axe to the root of the thing and not continue to deal with this soft, easy stuff that you've been dealing with. Crystal said, okay, so evaluating the episode and putting a title to it gives clarity. Is that not compartmentalizing? Would the bitterness remain because it's locked in and cause a later issue? The bitterness is the manifestation of it all, right? So when you see people that are angry and bitter, uh, it's based on an episode. It's based on something that happened, right? And oftentimes we're not willing to talk about what happened
mm, mm.
because the spaces, and y'all know I'm going to fix this in a moment because I hate the phrase, right? The faces, the spaces don't feel safe. So when ladies, just hear me when I tell you, when a brother opens his heart to you
Whoo.
and you throw that back in his face at a later time, yeah, you he don't feel safe now.
Yep.
But brothers, what we tell you is whether you feel safe or not, you got to be courageous. My wife and I, on the way, I took her to work today because I got some stuff to do, right? And on our way to work, um, we were talking about this very thing, and she was saying to me, "Hey, babe, I really appreciate you opening
Mm,
your life to me."
mm, mm-hmm,
And I said to her, I said, "Hey, babe, it's courageous of me to do so.
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
it's not because I've been violated over and over again in my life with
mm-hmm,
stuff that I've shared with people that I thought they would take it to their graves, right? So in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I don't. If I share something with my wife, what's to keep her? What's to stop her from doing the exact same thing? Right. So I play over and over again in my mind what other people have done with me, and it can impact my marriage. So I take a courageous stance. I take a courageous stance, right? And I enter vulnerability, transparency, and authenticity. That space of courage gives me the ability to connect with Lala, right? Because otherwise, Apostle, good to see you, my guy. Um, you know, otherwise I won't connect because I won't trust. That's Crystal's point, right? She said trust is an issue. So in order for me because how I show up in a relationship with my wife has nothing to do with my wife. I want y'all to get that nugget. Listen to me, brothers. How you show up in a relationship with your lady, with your business partner, with others has nothing to do with them. I don't show up based on how my wife shows up. My wife shows up great, but I don't show up with her based on her. I show up with her based on me.
Yeah. And here's the thing. How come most people don't understand that? Because is that a human thing? A natural reaction is to give people the energy that they give to you,
For
as
sure.
opposed to having your
Sure.
own energy. Because I think about that, and people say, well, no, I'm responsible for being who I am regardless of who everybody else is.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And so Marvin says society has put us in a place where we're seemingly soft for sharing or exposing certain hurts.
Yeah.
Let's reframe it a bit, though, Marv, because that statement can be disempowering. Anytime I allow society to define how I operate, it's
Right.
disempowering. Here's an empowering statement. An empowering statement is I'm going to show up regardless. I'm going to express myself regardless. I'm going to show emotion regardless. I'm going to have a sense of emotional intelligence regardless of how society views me. I don't give a damn how society views me. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I own my life. I own my life, right? So anytime you place how you are going to show up and how you are going to function in the lap of society or others, right? We are already in trouble. So I don't determine how I'm going to show up based on Lala, Leroy, my sister, my niece, my daughters, my children. Like I don't show up based on that. I show up based on how and who I genuinely am at my core and give them permission not to want to be involved with him. Listen, I just said something, y'all. I just said
Mhm.
something. Listen to me. Uh Morning from Johnny B. What's happening, bro? Good to see you, man. Say it again for the clarity. Say which part, Crystal. I apologize. So yeah, society doesn't define me. I define me. And in fact, I don't even define me. I'm defined by the one that made me.
Mm,
I'm,
there it
I don't
is.
I don't give myself definition. I give the one that made me reserves the right to tell me what I am, not
Mm.
anybody
I,
else.
and I love that statement, bro, because one of the, and I don't know if you watch his broadcast or not at all, but that's one of the kind of like statements that Joe Osteen
Yes,
makes with when he before he starts his sermon.
yes,
I am who God says that I am.
yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all I am. And that at the same, yeah, I'm defined by my creator. Yeah. He's the only one that gives. So when I want to be clear about what I'm feeling, when I want to be clear about why it's rubbing me the wrong way, when I want to be clear about all that, I go to him and I share my findings with my wife. I share my findings with Leroy, with those that are close to me. I share my findings, and sometimes when I'm clogged, when my spirit is impeded, like I'll go to my wife or I'll go to Leroy, I'll go to one of the brothers in the brotherhood and say, hey man, this is what I'm experiencing. Because sometimes you can't read the label from inside the bottle. You guys have heard me say that before, right? So what I want to make sure we do is deal with bitterness. So the question becomes, how do we deal with
Mm.
bitterness? We deal with
Yeah, yeah,
bitterness.
yeah.
Apostle Isaac Jenkins says, I am of me is the unconditioned self. Right? The pureness of Donald Morton, not the Donald Morton that has been crafted by all of the trauma that has happened in his life. I share with people all the time to say, hey, I'm not going to let nobody take advantage of me. So you do this, I'm gonna do this. Well, then they own you. And I would have more respect for you if you just acknowledge that they own me. They own you. If you determine to show up and give response to how they respond to you, if they respond to you from a broken place, it requires for you to stoop to their level to even engage.
Man, And did you get that the video I sent you
Yes, sir.
of
Monique.
Monique's son?
Yes, sir.
That, and you talking about bidding, and I'm thinking of him as you're
Yes.
talking about that, bro.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm thinking of her as you're talking about that, and how this is what happens when bitterness is allowed to fester. This is what happens when bitterness is allowed to grow its roots in
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So I like that you're getting ready to give not just to talk about bitterness, but give the solutions on how to deal with the bitterness, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no,
What you
no.
talking
A perfect point, because today's topic actually comes from the video that you
about?
sent,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I had some time to look at it, and it actually comes from that space, right?
Mhm.
Now, Crystal makes a point that I want to push on a little bit, and I want her to kind of see if she agrees with me. I agree to a certain extent. So Crystal says this. She says you have the right to be selective on what piece of you is shared. You're not fully for everyone. And here's what I would offer to you, Crystal. Tell me whether you can agree with me or nah. You're probably going to say nah just because you want to be rude today. Although you just did give me a comment, a compliment by saying somebody cash app Don, he preaching today. So we'll see. Um, Again, whenever we say, "Hey, I reserve the right to determine, right, what piece of me I'm going to share with another," I would offer to you that person owns you. Because what that really is saying is I either don't trust the person, which is valid. I'm afraid, which also could be valid. Any number of those things could be valid. When I determine what piece of me I'm going to share, I'm going to do that based on me and not on them. I'm not going to base it on them, right? So for example, it takes courage. Let's talk about Crystal. Let's talk about the dating process, right? And this is a part of Leroy. Uh, Crystal, I take it back. You're not a troublemaker. I allowed Donald to define you. Marv done jumped ship, Leroy. He said, Crystal, I take it back. She said, all is forgiven. You learned today. Yo, okay. Oh boy. So here's what happens in the dating process that has always concerned me, Leroy. I'd like to hear from whether or not you've experienced this too, right? Because Leroy, you guys will be married by the end of this year. Leroy will be married by the end of this year.
My boo.
Hey, in the old Pentecostal church, Lala would love. Hey.
Had a quickening.
You know that.
Had a quickening.
And quickening. Yeah. Johnny says, congratulations. Yeah, absolutely. Marvin says, congrats, Doc. Yeah. So here's what I can't stand about the dating phase, right? My wife and I were really intentional about not doing this. Look at Apostle Jenkins. Apostle Jenkins said Leroy about to get a play toy.
What you say, Pastor? What you say?
He's about to get a play toy. So one of the challenges that I've always had with dating is that this thought that we put our best foot forward. We let people see the best of us, and you know, we reserve the fact that, it ain't all good. We reserve that until a time to be determined in the future, right? And what I'm saying is, I am going to show up in relationship fully me, because you reserve the right to know whether or not this is a person that you want to actually get to know more.
Yeah.
You can't do that if you're selective about what pieces of you show.
Yeah.
Right? It's unfair to the person with whom you desire a relationship, or whatever the case may be, right? It's unfair to that person, because a part of what happens is they like the version of you that you've shown, but that ain't really you.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't you.
That's why.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Now, that's why I say you need to know people through all 4 seasons: the
Yes,
good,
bro.
bad, the ugly, how they handle good things and how they handle bad things.
Absolutely.
Situations.
Absolutely.
Because that's the only way. And I'll say this, add to what you were saying. Yes, I think we do. Most people, when they start in relationships, they show you all of the good things about them. They want to show you because they want to put their best foot forward to impress you, and this, that, and the other, and all of those things. And I think you do yourself and them a disservice by not. And I'm not saying you gotta throw your
You
full
ain't gotta
self
vomit.
out at the
You ain't
beginning.
gotta
Yeah, like,
vomit.
here
Right.
I am, that type of thing.
Wait.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got it. Yeah, but even and you and Marla can speak to this. Even though you are married, you're still growing, and there's still going to be parts of you that become different. At least there should be. But I truly believe the core of who we are, the true character core of who we are, those are the things that should not change. They sometimes they need to change, but for the most part, if you're a good-hearted person, all of those things, that's going to show, and that's going to go throughout, and you have to be able to see those things. But that you should be allowing the person that, especially that you truly care about in that dating phase, that you should allow them to be able to see who you are, and the choice is up to them whether they want to stay or not.
That's the point. That's the point.
Right.
That's the
Right.
point. That's the point. No, go ahead, man, because that's the point I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to reach the point where everyone understands I'm going to put my full self on display. Here is the reason why you don't like to put your full self on display, because you don't like the feeling of rejection.
Rejection, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? So when someone says that is not for me, you feel rejected. Instead of giving it a different meaning, instead of reframing it, like them not liking me gives me freedom to explore something else. But if you are only giving yourself bits and pieces to people, right? And then they're saying, I really like you. They really don't. They don't like you. They like the version of you that you have been courageous enough to display. They don't like you. They like a piece of you, a facet of you, but it's not the real you. And all I'm suggesting to people is that it takes such courage to put yourself on display.
Yeah.
To put yourself in what Brené Brown calls the arena. Right? Allowing yourself time in the arena. And the reason why it's important is because being in the arena is the place that most onlookers are unwilling to be.
Yep. Absolutely.
Everyone that's talking bad and greasy about you ain't even in the arena. They haven't even been willing to display the level of courage that you've displayed by dating, by choosing, by putting yourself out there. It's the same thing for business, right? We don't put our businesses out there. We don't put our landing pages out there. We don't put our flyers out there. We don't put because we're afraid of the reactions of society. And when you reach a place where it just really does, that's the word. You on the right hand side of the arc, Apostle. That's the word. Authenticity and transparency. If we're ever able to get to a place as a society that is fully authentic, like I'm going to bring my full self to it. And whatever happens, happens. But I was courageous enough to bring my full self to it. Marla and I have had some really hard conversations. Let me tell you the kind of wife that I have. Let me brag on her for a moment, right? She's not perfect. I'm not perfect, right? But this is one of the things that I appreciate about Marla. If she sees me retreating from hard conversations, because I could be having a flashback of something that hurt me, she will literally say, "Hey, babe, your withholding conversation from me is hurting the marriage. It's not helping the marriage. I'm here for the hard conversations." This is a quote from her. "I'm here for the hard conversations, even if the hard conversations is about me."
Wow. Wow.
Right? So then that creates, and what I've said to her is, okay, I'm gonna bring the fullness of myself. I'm afraid to. I'm scared about it. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling fear and doing it anyway.
Anyway, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we just had this conversation. I'm gonna bring my full self, but I already know that the temptation to throw this in my face, because I've had this happen before, not necessarily by Marla, but by others. I've had this happen before. I've had this play before. Right? So at the end of the day, y'all, the question isn't about whether or not a person will do right by you. The question is about extreme ownership, the left-hand side of the arc, the extreme ownership, owning my participation. And if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. If they abandon me, they do. If they hang in, they do. It doesn't matter. I've brought my full self to the experience. So let me give you one key, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Leroy. We're gonna take the hoodies off in a moment. Marvin said, "Wow, love the communication between you both." Yeah, it's getting better, but my wife is very keen on reminding me when it's not so good. Because to keep it a buck with you, Marv, we just came out of a place where it wasn't so good. Like I retreated. And it was her who said, "Okay, you shutting down on me. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you feeling?" And again, it don't have nothing to do with her. It had to do with the root episodic moments that I've had that can kind of remind me in my marriage, oh, this look familiar. Can we keep it a buck? That's what we do in Remand. If y'all really want to know, in Remand, that's what we do. We keep it a buck. We keep it 100, right? So I began to retreat, and she reminded me, "Hey, you shutting down on me a little bit. What's good?" And I was able to say, and this morning, this very morning, just to let y'all in our car, this very morning, she said, "How do you feel about communicating?" I said, I don't know whether I trust it.
And that's a hard thing to do.
I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
And it's not her. It's not her. I was courageous enough to bring my full self to the conversation. Her question is, "Hey, babe, how do you feel about?" And I'm saying, "I don't know yet." She said, "You waiting for the other shoe to drop?" Yes, ma'am. Has nothing to do with her. It's a root that's based in episodes long before her that I'm having to lay the axe to. Right? So be willing. So my wife and I have better communication than most couples. But even every now and then I can, Mr. Remand, Mr. Mastery. Even I can get to a place where I'm like, I had to share some things with Leroy last night. And he ministered to me, because I don't care how high you get, you're always going to need a space. And you're going to have to be courageous enough to step into that space, even when it feels unsafe. Go ahead, Leroy.
And you always say, no matter where we are in this.
What's up, Derek? Man, good to see you, bro. Thank you for stopping by the Grown Man Podcast, my guy. Good to see you. Go ahead, Leroy. I apologize.
No, but no matter where we are in this walk, in this journey that we have, for those that have gone through remand, we understand that you're always going to face the arc with something. Absolutely. Whatever asset, there's going to be an aspect of your life that you're going to have to face the arc for. If you're going to, and that's what I talk about, where we grow, and it takes the journey to be able to recognize the obstacles, to recognize the thoughts that come when they come, the feelings that come when they come, the beliefs that come when they're there, and the actions that come there, and being able to understand your responsibility, your ethicality, your mastery, your accountability, and all of those, and your nobility. Did you say I did that? Did you say I did that? Oh man. But when you're able to, like you said, when you were courageous enough to say, you know what, I got to spend some time with this, and I face it, and this is the thing that you have the tools to be able to face
for sure.
And that's what we are about here. That's what the podcast is about. That's what the Remand book is about. That's what the Remand, all of the things Remand are about, is giving you the tools that you need in order to be able to face those obstacles and those challenges that come. Because they coming. They gonna come. They gonna come.
And they coming in hot. So here's something that I've learned recently, Leroy. Then we'll take the hoodies off, man. Kristen don't tell us to take the hoodies off. You just want to tell us to put the hoodies on and then abandon the podcast, right? So she ain't telling us, okay, yo, that's enough conversation. She ain't telling us that, right? So this is what I'm learning now as a part of, if I were to show y'all the character arc, I'm working on it up there, right? This is something I'm learning, Leroy, that I'm going to be sharing a new revelation about the character arc, right? That mastery requires agility, right? One of the things that I am better at now than I've ever been in my life is recognizing adversity before it's up on me. So I need y'all to hear me. So have y'all ever been driving? Like, I used to live in a place where there were deer everywhere, right? Deer. Yeah, Marv. Mastery requires agility. And this is what that means, right? So I used to live, obviously, Marv, in Newcastle, right? And there would be I was taught how to turn on my high beams and slow down so that I could see the eyes of the deer that would be on the side of the road, right? So I could recognize potential adversity before the adversity was right up on me. Because if you don't do it that way, the potential for the deer to shoot out there and wreck your car because you couldn't see it coming. Leroy has often said, it ain't the punch that's the hardest that knocks you behind down. It's the one you don't see coming. Part of mastering adversity is being able to have a greater view of it, that down there might be a problem. So let me back up and let me prepare myself. Let me be agile enough to know that I can do something down there that perhaps I didn't plan on doing, but I'm agile. Bitterness requires you to be agile enough to reframe a moment when it's happening before it even happens. To give yourself permission to say, I'm going to create a different meaning. So I told y'all that I was locked out of a church. I was kicked out of that church. I was locked out of that church. The deacons locked me out, kicked me out of that church. And for years, even now, there's still a root there. It's a part of what I was talking with Leroy about, part of what I was talking with Wifey about, right? And until I can fully, this is the way you deal with bitterness, because bitterness's root is episodic, meaning that there's something that happened that created a root, and that root is manifesting in bitterness, right? And it's affecting more areas of your life than you really know. Here's what you got to do. You got to reframe the moment, because this is what God told me. God told me, I never told you to pastor the church in the first place. God talked to me recklessly, Roy. This is what he said. He said, I never,
yes, sir.
Right? Like I never told you to pastor the church. You decided to pastor that church. And because you did, you got the consequences of a decision you made. He said, in order for me to get remand started, I had to release you from that church as violently as possible. So while you're mad at them, if you're going to be mad at anybody, be mad at me. I needed to get you away from it, because getting you away from it would prepare you to do everything that you're doing with the Remand Project. There would be no Remand Project if you were still doing that work. Remand is my vision for your life. Pastoring was your vision for your life.
Ouch.
Right? So Crystal said the meeting time has been extended due to the high engagement on this topic. There's more to be said. Please proceed, management. Right? Derek said, wow, this is helping me. Wow. Yeah. So Marvin said, now I got to apologize to God because I was mad at them with you. I was angry. Derek, I was angry. Marv, I was angry. But here's the deal. It had to happen that way, because God knows my temperament. How does he know my temperament? He made me. He knows I'm fighting. It's what I do. I'm fighting. And here's the deal. Legally, I had every ground to stay. I could have took it to court, all of that. But for what?
Right.
For what? My cousin Miko, she said, me too. Yeah. Everybody was up in arms. And it caused such bitterness because it caused such broken relationships until God said to me, no, man, that's me. If you're going to be mad at anybody, be mad at me. Be mad at me. And here's the deal. It's still showing up in ways that are incredibly hurtful. And it's impacting business, it's impacting relationship. It was impacting my new wife. So I am right now in this very moment addressing the last couple of root causes that I notice it still exists. Right? So at the end of the day, y'all, find a different meaning and perhaps entertain this. I'm not asking you to do it. I'm just asking you to perhaps entertain the idea that the way it happened, it had to happen, and that there was a divine reason for which all of it took place.
Yeah.
And I know we don't like to think, because this whole idea of bad things, right? Bad things are not bad. You give them meaning. You make them bad because you think that anything proverbially negative means it's something bad. There's nothing bad. All of it is necessary. It's all necessary. And if you just simply learn to give a different meaning to it, you'll not grow roots of bitterness. Because there's something powerful that emerges out of the episodes that you go through. The scripture says it this way. I didn't say it. The scripture says it this way, that tribulation brings about character.
Yes.
On tribulation.
All of us want patience, but don't have to go through those
The
situations that
things
have to create patience.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I struggle with hearing God when I'm upset. Good advice you provide. I do too. So that's why I've learned to pause. I've learned to pause. I've learned to sit in the pause. Because Viktor Frankl says this. He says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space, I have the power to choose my response. So what I've learned to do is pause. When I see that part of me erupting again, because I used to have a horrible anger problem, when I've seen that part of me erupt again, I've had to create pauses. Because like you, I can't hear God clearly when I'm upset. So I had to learn to pause. Marv said, this was definitely needed today. Thank you, brothers. Love you, bro. Yeah, I'm glad, man. I'm glad this was helpful. And this is helpful for me too. Look at that, Leroy. God, I apologize. I love it. I love what this podcast has done today. Crystal said, nice circle back to the topic. Thank you, producer, super producer. What's up, LD Miller? She said, hey, that's good. Derek said, you are teaching. It was necessary for me to click on and listen. Yes, sir, man. I've just learned the value. This now, Leroy, we're the Cotton Candy Podcast, because we dealt with some heavy stuff today.
Exactly.
This is the Grown Man Podcast. The other podcasts that exist, the Cotton Candy ones, where are they, Leroy? Let's give some directions.
5 blocks down.
5 blocks down.
Look for the green awning and make a left. You can't miss it. It's the Cotton Candy Podcast, and right next door to it is the other part of it. Is what did we call it? Would you call it earlier? The whatever it is, them fake and phony people. You know what I'm saying?
We have to reach a place as men, because our society is really requiring of us and depending on us to grow up. And for me, I've done so much damage over the course of my life. Can I tell y'all, and maybe we'll deal with this tomorrow, Leroy. I will deal with this tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to deal with how to deal with guilt.
Yes. Bitterness, guilt. Yeah, that's a good one.
How to deal with guilt, because it's showing up in your life.
That's bitterness is twin sister. It's guilt.
It is. You know? Oh, Crystal said it's book commercial time. Of course, Crystal.
Yes, indeed.
If you have not gotten your copy of the Remand book, then I desire for you to get your copy of the Remand book. We've got a bunch of them going out today. Yours could be in the next bunch. Go to www.theremandbook.com and get your copy of this phenomenal book. If you've not seen some of the testimonials, one testimonial said, listen, I sat down just to kind of read a chapter. Before I knew it, I was on chapter 7. And I had to go back, because each chapter in the book has methods of activation, things that you got to do in order to get past that stage. So, and she talked about, she said, look, the book requires that you read it over and over and over and over again. It's not the kind of book that you read all the way through and you're done with it. It's the book that is going to require you to go back over and address your life over and over and over again. www.theremandbook.com. Get your copy today. Leroy, let's close it up, man. I'll give you the last words before we Marv said likewise for me, Derek. Brothers and sisters, I'm so grateful. That's what the podcast is about. I'm so grateful, right? Dwight said authentically transformational. Miller's laughing at the commercial. Absolutely. Crystal telling us it's time for a commercial. And look at what she said. 11:30, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. So she told us to get our tails and get off of here. Leroy, let's take our hoodies off, man. Great show today. Bruh, I wanna give you last words before we check out of here.
Nah, brothers, understand this, and sisters too. Understand this, that the Remand book, as you were saying, Don, it's not something that you just pick up and you read and it's you done with it. This is something that you can use throughout your life and the experiences that you get and that you'll have to be able to gain clarity and understanding of how to deal with the different issues. And I'll say this I guarantee you, there's not an issue in your life that you have to deal with that this book does not give you the tools to deal with it.
Yeah, for sure.
I promise you. It's not, brother. So deal with that bitterness. Don't be afraid to get back to the place of where it started, because it's not going to do you any good to just deal with the surface part of it. You got to dig it up. You're going to have to dig it up. You got to pull it from the roots to get it all up, and then you'll be able to go into starting to fix it.
Absolutely.
Starting to heal from it.
Absolutely.
Starting to move forward from it. But you got to deal with the bitterness first.
You got to.
You got to find that place where it started.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you for that, man. Crystal said, ladies and gentlemen, she has become the producer. We should probably meet with her, Leroy. She has become the producer. Ladies and gentlemen, please like and share today's show.
Yes.
See you tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. Blessings. Hey, listen, y'all. We love y'all. We respect y'all. Thank y'all for being a part of the Grown Man Podcast family, the Remand family. There is no us without y'all, and we're really grateful to have you as a part of our lives. And we're grateful to be a part of y'all's life as well. Love you more, Cuzzo. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 10 o'clock a.m. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, Donald ain't late.
I ain't gonna be late. Look for Leroy's pink mug tomorrow during the Grown Man Podcast. Talk with y'all soon. Peace.